So try to make yourself relax, comfortable. And try to focus your mind on the breath. And we can think, I'm going to do this practice meditations so that I can have the imprint to have realization emptiness. Which can cut all the delusion, and the very root of all the delusion is ignorance. So I can be greatest help, benefit to all sentient beings. Then we can bring back our attention to the breath. So then we can try to bring strong sense of I or me or self by recollecting some instant or by imagining something that gives rise to strong fear, worry, anxiety, or anger. A strong negative emotion or any strong emotion that involves strong sense of I or me. And then try to watch how the I appear to our mind at that time. The I which we feel very strongly. For example, I've been insulted, embarrassed, abused, humiliated, when something happens, there's strong sense of I which we feel that who have been humiliated, for example. How does that sense of I appear? How do we feel about that I? If we observe it, its sense of I, real I, truly existing I, that has been humiliated. if we observe deeply, there is no sense of I which merely imputed, but there is sense of real I, truly existing I, that has been humiliated. So then we try to see, just as the way I appear to our mind and the way our mind perceive to exist, is there such I or self that is truly existing, real, truly existing, existing by itself on its own side, as it appeared to our mind at that moment. If there's such truly existing I or self, and when we analyze deeply, not on surface, superficial level, but more deeply, thoroughly, then we should be able to pinpoint such I and find. So if there's such I, can it be found within our aggregate or outside of aggregate, separate from the aggregate? There's only that two possible to find. And if we try to find within the aggregates, is my physical form aggregate the self or me? It is not. The physical body is not me, is mine, physical body. Those two are two different things. And if we try to find within each part of those physical body, none of them is I or me or self. My head is not me, my neck is not me, my shoulder, my hands, my upper part of the body, thigh, legs, feet, they are not me or the self. All the organs are not the me. Each of those parts of the body and the body itself doesn't have the functioning of me or self, cannot function everything which is self or I. Therefore, the body itself or each part of body if not me or self, cannot be found in that. In the same way, the feeling aggregate, the aggregate of discriminating mind, the aggregate of compositional factors, and the aggregate of consciousness, each of them are not me or self. Me and my feeling are different, not same one. Me and my discriminating mind are not same one. In same way, compositional factor mind, consciousness is my consciousness, and me or I are not same. They are not me, nor I am not my feeling. I am not my discriminating mind. I am not my compositional factor mind. I am not the consciousness. They are not one same. Also, if we try to find in each of those parts of feeling, discriminating mind, compositional factor, consciousness, we cannot find with each of them. Is part of those consciousness. Is part of feeling, or the feeling itself is part of the discriminating mind, and the discriminating mind itself is part of the compositional factor mind, and compositional mind, factor mind itself is part of the consciousness, and the consciousness itself is not me or I, because it cannot have full functionings of me or I or self. Something that doesn't have functioning, full functioning of the self cannot be the self. I. Therefore, each of those aggregates are not me or the self. And I am not each of those aggregates. I cannot be found in each of those aggregates. If it is not one with the aggregate and cannot be found within the aggregates, can it be found outside of aggregate, separate from the aggregates? If we take away our feelings, your disco body, feeling, discriminating mind, compositional factor of mind, consciousness, all of them, apart from them, separate from them, can you find I or self? Can you find anywhere separate and outside from those aggregates? If we analyze, then we cannot find at all separate and outside from those aggregates. There is no phenomena that is separate from those aggregates, outside those aggregates, besides the functioning of the self or I. It cannot be found within the aggregates or outside of the aggregate. And it's clear that it does not exist by itself. From its own side, by itself, without depending on other factors such as aggregates. Therefore, so-called the self is totally empty of existence from its own side, existing by itself. Empty of truly existing. Even though at the very beginning it feels like you can find, feels so real, but when we do deep analysis, you cannot pinpoint, you cannot find, either within the aggregate, outside the aggregate. Therefore, it's empty of truly existence. Try to contemplate and try to stay in that empty, that is totally empty of the self, is totally empty of inherent existence or truly existing. Existing from its own side by itself. Totally empty. There is no truly existing real I that has been humiliated. Absolutely not. It's totally empty. the appearance of the inherently existing, truly existing self is totally mistaken appearance due to the previous imprint. Receiving truly existing I is totally mistaken one. Even though there's no truly existing, inherently existing self, the self that exists by itself, but our direct experience shows there is someone who is experiencing different experiences. Someone who is happy sometimes, who is not happy sometimes, sad sometimes. Sometimes healthy, sometimes unhealthy, experiencing those. Sometimes being compassion, sometimes being angry. Those are direct experience. We cannot deny that. So there is someone who experienced that. So therefore there is a self that is experiencing all of that. But that is self is merely imputed. It exists on the basis of merely imputed. It is the merely imputed, merely designated self that experiences all of that. There is no truly existing, inherent existence that is experiencing all of that. Instead, it's merely imputed self or I that experience all of them. Therefore, the self, the so-called I, me, self, is merely imputed, merely designated. It functions and experiences merely on that basis. And we can bring back our attention to the breath slowly. Then we can dedicate whatever positive potential we have created for oneself and all sentient beings to actualize and fully develop the wisdom relies on the ultimate truth, emptiness, together with the bodhicitta mind, and to achieve fully awakened state. So we can be greatest benefit to all sentient beings. And we can slowly open our eyes. Okay.